Okay, Phil. So Harborough Town tomorrow, next round of the FA Cup. Some will see Sports as favourites because they play in a higher league, but Harborough defeated another National League North team in Worksop Town last round. Actually came back from 2-0 down. So in that game, so how are you going to use your managerial experience to make sure they don't claim another National League North scalp tomorrow or Saturday?
I think having come into Peterborough Sports, it's quite a baptism of fire when you think about it. You know, we took on league leaders, if you want to call that, in my first game, and we managed to get through to the next round of the trophy, the FA Cup, shall I say. And now we've got Harborough Town, again a team that's doing very well in the division, and started the season off ever so well. The reports that we've had on them, and we've watched them a couple of times since we heard that we were drawn against them. Watched them a couple of times on videos, etc., etc. They've got a certain style of football, a certain style of play, but they're playing with a lot of belief in that system that they're playing. And I don't mean as in shape or formation. It's a case of getting the ball forward early, getting the ball into a striker, playing off set pieces, playing off long throws, playing off second balls. And I wouldn't have said, you know, at the end of the day, at this level, that it's anything brand new. I think there's a lot of teams doing that. They're doing it very, very well. That's the part, you know, that's the reason why they're winning games of football. They are winning more than their fair share of second balls. So Tuesday night was preparation for that kind of mentality. Tonight will be exactly the same. I'll be preparing the players for what's to come out of their changing room. But more importantly, I think we need to prepare our players for what I want and what we want from the game of football. If we win the second ball, something I've said ever since my early days at Bolton Wanderers, at Derby County, Hull City, you name it. Ever since I've started, I've always said if we win enough second ball, we play and the opposition don't play. But if they start winning more second balls, we have to find a way of stopping them from playing. Now, if their second balls are from long throws, that's already in your 6-yard box or in your penalty box. We've got to be brave. We've got to be able to understand where that ball's going to lie and where it's going to fall, and understand that that's their strength, and we have to work at nullifying their strength to hopefully bring our strength, which will be playing some kind of football in the final third.
Where do you stand on the FA Cup? Are you in the camp that you believe it's the best competition in the world and you should be protected, or do you see it as a bit of a distraction from
the former comment there? Not necessarily the best competition in the world, but one of the oldest, one of the traditional ones, one of the ones that's actually brought in a lot more new rules of late, you know, no replays, etc., etc. For me, it's sort of took the shine off it to a certain extent, but you get into the first round as a team like Peterborough Sports, you get into the first round proper. Now you're talking business, now you're talking money, now you're talking support, now you're talking some kind of recognition for it. If that's extra punters coming through the gate, or it's TV cameras in town, all of that's a reward for your rounds now. These rounds are important. For teams at our level, these are so important. One of the things my chairman said to me when he first met me, you know, the first game was in the FA Cup and he wants to win it. And I said, the FA Cup? And he went, no, just the first game. And now he wants to win the second game. It's understandable. If a man puts money into a club, all I can do is take notice of that. And then whatever his wishes are, I'm going to try and fulfil them wishes. If we can win on Saturday against Harborough Town, then it takes us to the next level. And there's always reward, there's always a financial reward, but the biggest financial reward for me is that we will go into our first league game under my tenure. I thought it was going to be Southport, that finished sort of however it finished, but my first league game representing Peterborough Sports will be Kidderminster Harriers. I want to go into that game undefeated, and if I can do that on the back of 2, possibly 3 games, then so be it.
So Saturday's game then, still a number of injuries around the place. Is there any team news, or is it too early?
Again, you know, we're talking about 5:45 on a Thursday evening. The players will be here around about 6 o'clock, 6:30. They'll be out on the training ground. I'll get to know the lowdown on 1 or 2 of them. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, soon Shaquille Culthurst might be on the training ground and fully training, which is good news. I'm hoping Muzzy's going to be there, Muzzy Carriol. He's going to be somewhere near. Aaron Powell will be somewhere near, fully training tonight. So there's 1 or 2 coming back at this moment in time. Fingers crossed Jonesy might make an appearance on the training ground tonight, but I'm not sure. So I haven't named the team yet because I want, obviously there's some good senior players and some very good players there as well. So I'll probably name the team on Saturday morning. But we'll work towards, as I say, how Harborough Town play tonight. We've got to be tactically aware, we've got to be physically aware, we've got to be physically capable. But then when the game settles down, or when we can get our foot on the ball, we've got to play some football on Saturday.
And you hinted when we spoke after the abandoned game at Southport last weekend that you might have to consider a change in formation. Is that still in your thoughts?
Absolutely. And it's only a case of, we went into that game against Southport in the first half in the same formation as what we did first game of the season, first game of my season, shall I say. I stuck with the same game plan and we found ourselves 2-0 down. The players then didn't completely see the whites of my eyes, but they saw somebody that was 2-0 down at half-time have to do something about it. And I did. I changed formation, I changed personnel. And it has to be said, we got a foothold in the game. We got a foothold in the second half performance by a long way, albeit the conditions were poor, but it was poor for both teams. The reason why, for me, Southport were 2-0 up at half-time was they had a better mentality than what we did in the first half. Second half was totally different. And when it went to 2-1, I honestly will stand here, as I would do, as the manager of the team that had just scored a goal, as a team in the ascendancy. And for me, with my experience, it looked like we were going to get something from the game. The opposite manager was totally disagreeing with the fact that the game should be abandoned. It was abandoned, it was the right decision. Player safety was of paramount importance, there's no doubt about it. We were 2-1 down, but we weren't dead and buried, that's for sure. So I'm coming into this game buoyed by the second half performance, if truth be known.
Fabulous. There's a supporters coach organised for Saturday.
Excellent.
It's a fairly close game considering some of the travelling the fans have to do in this league. How important the fans going to be on Saturday?
They're always important, regardless of numbers. I think it's the level of passion and support that they show. One, conduct themselves in the right manner, there's no doubt about that. Go to the game, get behind the team, let's hear you, let's hear the noise. I pass Harborough, Market Harborough on the way here, so it's just an hour, round about an hour, which is fairly close proximity-wise. As many supporters as we can possibly get, it gives me a lift. I'm sure it's going to give the players a lift when they can hear the Peterborough Sports supporters there, and then hopefully there'll be a lot more turning up for the Kidderminster Harriers game. But support is important, absolutely, 100%.
And finally, Phil, you've already touched on this a little bit, but if we can allow ourselves to dream just for one moment, what would it mean to you and the club to make the first round proper? That's so far elusive for Peterborough Sports, but it will be a huge step, wouldn't it?
I think it's a huge step in the lifespan of the football club, but it's a huge step in my tenure as the manager of this club. Yes, we want to get out the trouble that way where the league status and the league table is concerned, for sure. But a cup run will go a long way to bolstering, one, finances, two, levels of confidence in the players. Because I've noticed on the training ground, the levels of confidence is sky high when nobody's watching. Everybody's watching on a Saturday, and that's the main part of your game as a professional footballer. Whether it be part-time or not, when you're professional, you are 100% thinking, how good can I be on Saturday? And if you bring that to the party, it'll be good enough for me.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Phil. Good luck for Saturday.
Thank you.